What is going on, my people? Welcome back to another edition of Sports Étouffée. I am your host, Logan Graffia, and after a brief absence, we are now back for good. Now, on tap for you today, I'm going to break down the LSU running back room and why it might be the strongest room for LSU. And then I will talk about why linebacker for the Saints might be the weak spot on the defense and why it should be addressed. All that and in between, right here on Sports Étouffée. Let's get started. Hey, play me my theme music first. All right, so first on tap is the LSU running back room. It might be the strongest room for LSU this year outside of maybe receiver or even quarterback room. And one name that I am very happy that LSU acquired via the transfer portal is Logan Diggs. Coming from Notre Dame, he's already familiar with, Brian Kelly and Mike Denbrock. And him and Josh Williams are probably going to split carries at the number one spot. And then you still have John Emery and Noah Cain and even Armani Goodwin. But then next year you'll probably have a combination of Trey Bradford and Trey Holly and Caleb Jackson. But this year, Diggs, Williams, Cain, and Emery should be your rotation. Holly and Jackson's probably going to be your guys next year. And speaking on John Emery, it seems like Brian Kelly is confident that he is going to play this year amidst all the academic issues. Brian Kelly says you could tell at SEC media that he was confident about John Emery. And if you have a rotation of Logan Diggs, John Emery, Josh Williams, and even Noah Cain, I think that you're built for success right there. And last year you didn't see a great running back rotation because all you really had was Josh Williams and Noah Cain in a sense. Armani Goodwin got hurt right in the beginning of the season, if I'm not mistaken. But Josh Williams really, really was he was just under the radar good. And that's saying a lot about a former walk-on. So this year, I think you'll see a more balanced attack because of the running back room. I mean, Diggs provides speed and power. He might, if you look at his tape, he can get you that extra yard through the gaps, through the A gaps. And I apologize about that. My cat's going crazy right now. And I just got to say, the running back room, I think might be the strongest for LSU this year. Now, like I said, Logan Diggs, I feel, should be the first string running back outside of Josh Williams. Him and Josh Williams are probably going to be your workhorses. Then you can rotate in John Emery and Noah Cain when need be. When John Emery is on the field, he is excellent. If you look at the Alabama game, for instance, he made some plays, scoring plays actually, that were just very eye-opening. You can see why he was a 5-star, 4-star, 5-star out of Destrehan many years ago. And Noah Cain is Armani Goodwin's probably the lowest one on the totem pole in this rotation right now, but I truly believe that with Logan Diggs, Josh Williams as your running back ones, and then John Emery and Noah Cain as your running back twos in a sense, you got a great rotation. You can put each back in a certain formation that suits their strengths. And I think that's what we really missed last year because we truly didn't really have that. When Josh Williams got tired and Armani Goodwin got hurt in the beginning of the season, you had Josh Williams and Noah Cain, and then every now and then you had John Emery when he was on the field. So this year I think you'll see a more balanced attack, which is something that we truly missed last year. I think it'll take a lot. The running back room will take a lot of pressure off of quarterback Jaden Daniels, who was poised to have a Heisman Trophy-esque season. Now, Bradford, Hodley, and Jackson are some young guys that were highly recruited by Brian Kelly. Trey Hodley especially. I think Trey Hodley might be the next man up next year. Him and Caleb Jackson. You've seen a tiny glimpse in the spring game from Trey Hodley, and I like what I see in him and Caleb Jackson. So next year should be fun when you have Trey Hodley and Caleb Jackson, and even Trey Bradford holding it down in the backfield while helping out assumed starter Garrett Nussmeier for 2024. But 2023, you're looking at Diggs, Williams, Kane, and Emery. Now, let's move on to our next topic, which is the final topic, of course, is what spot on the defense is probably the weakest for the Saints right now. And you would think linebacker was going to be the strongest point of the defense, but it is not. After Davis and Warner, who do you really have behind them? I mean, here's the linebackers on the roster as it stands. This ain't the 53 yet. You have Demario Davis, Pete Warner, Zach Bond, Andrew Dowell, Ty Summers, Dylan Connolly, Anthony Orji, and Nick Anderson. Now, out of that entire list, I want to say I would have to go in Andrew Dowell has made a lot. He's been a special teamer for the Saints for a couple years now. He's made some good downfield tackles, but I want to say don't sleep on Anthony Orji or Nick Anderson, the Tulane player. And Nick Anderson, everyone's comparing him to Sam Mills because, I mean, of course, he wore the Sam Mills jersey in his picture after he got signed by the Saints. And he wore it at his pro day, too, at Tulane. It's one of his favorite players, as it is mine. Now, Nick Anderson and Anthony Orji are undrafted free agents that they just picked up right after the draft a couple months ago. And I like their chances to make the roster, the 53-man roster, over someone like a Dowell, Summers, or Connolly. Anthony Orji had over like 100 tackles at Vanderbilt just this last year total. Nick Anderson, I mean, he might look undersized, but he packs a punch. Nick Anderson is somebody that I truly want to make this roster. I just such a believer and a fan of his, and as someone who knows what it's like to play the position undersized, someone like me, I'm 5'8", and I played the position, and he's 5'9", and he plays the linebacker position, so I understand what it's like to be the underdog at that position. But another one, Zach Bond, from the 2020 draft pick. He truly, if they just use him correctly, he might see success. And the thing is, they haven't used him to his abilities. At Wisconsin, he was an off-the-edge pass rusher. In this system, it's a 4-2-5 system, and you're not going to play three linebackers. Now, if you ask my belief, I would prefer not to play a 4-2-5 system, but here we are. Now, Bond, I really like Bond's potential. And it's been 3 years, but he's played some special teams, of course, now. But I would use Bond as a pass rusher in certain packages, but they just haven't done so as of yet. But maybe Dennis Allen and Joe Woods can, scheme something together for Zach Bond. Now, Andrew Dowell, a special teamer. The long shots on the team, of course, are the ones that I mentioned, Anthony Orji and Nick Anderson. But I had both of them on my draft board for 2023. Now, Ty Summers, he's been a journeyman in a way, kind of. He's been in the league for a few years now. But Glenn Connolly is mainly a special teamer. So, if you ask me, for the 53, I don't know how many linebackers Dennis Allen and the Saints plan on keeping, but if you ask me, behind Davis and Warner, it should be Bond, Anthony Orji, and Nick Anderson. And if you want to put Andrew Dowell in there, I would say do that, because Anthony Orji is a tackling machine. He is kind of a similar player like Demario Davis, just a downhill, great tackler in between the A gaps, even B gaps. Great side-to-side reader on coverage as well. Nick Anderson, he's old school. He really might be in the mold of Sam Mills or even someone like a London Fletcher. I'm not saying he is that, but you go back and watch the tape, he was probably one of the top 3 best defenders on that Tulane defense just last year. And I really wanted to make this team. But in order to make this team, probably for Orji and Anderson, it's probably going to be via special teams, or you just got to ball out in preseason. You can ball out in camp all you want, but you have to ball out in preseason, show what you can do. And don't be afraid, like I said, don't be afraid to play special teams. So there's one spot they should address. Outside of course, defensive end needs to be addressed. I was going to save that for another show, but defensive end also needs to be addressed. A veteran. You got Yannick Ngakoue. Wow, that's a tongue twister. Out there as a free agent, who a lot of people say doesn't fit with Dennis Allen, Joe Woods, and even Ty Grantham once at a defensive end. And then you also got Jadeveon Clowney, but apparently him and Joe Woods do not like each other. Joe Woods is the Saints' de facto defensive coordinator, even though Dennis Allen is the play caller. We still have a defensive coordinator, but that needs to be addressed outside of the linebacker position. And I honestly am confident in the young guys of Anthony Orji and Nick Anderson and Zach Bond if he's used to his strengths. But yeah, defensive end is another spot that they need a vet. And Yannick Ngakoue, or Ngoku, however you pronounce it, I am sorry if I am butchering it, but you know who I'm talking about. But that is just 2 positions on the defense that need to either be addressed or we might need to see more in preseason. But, like I said, my linebacker sleepers for the 53 are Anthony Orji from Vanderbilt and also Nick Anderson out of Tulane. And that is all I have for you guys today. If you would like, subscribe and share this podcast anywhere that you are active on social media, I would greatly appreciate it. And if you want to hear about a certain topic, leave it in the comments or even DM me or message me on any of my social medias. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. I'm not hard to find. So with that being said, wow, I can't talk today, you guys. With that being said, I am Logan Graffia. This has been another great edition of Sports Étouffée. We shall see you guys next time.